Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. This podcast has been created with you in mind to acquaint you with some of the most incredible metaphysicians and spiritual leaders from around the globe who have helped others change their lives. In this interactive hour, you will be offered insights and techniques to help you make a difference in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening platform. And here we go, on to the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's me, Dr. Marla Goldberg, coming to you live with the last episode of the year. And what makes this show even more special is it's the last episode for a while. I will be taking a little bit of a respite. I'm not sure how long, but you've got 5, almost 6 years worth of podcasts that you can refer back to on your favorite listening platforms. So I'm so excited about today. We've got Karen Noe on the show. Karen is a renowned psychic medium, spiritual counselor, and healer with a 2-year waiting list. She is the author of We Consciousness, Your Life After Their Death, Through the Eyes of Another, and The Rainbow Follows the Storm. She has also penned an Oracle Quest deck. It's called the Angel Quest Oracle Deck. I just want to say that clearly, the Angel Quest Oracle Deck, because that might have sounded a little confusing. Karen has also taught many workshops at the Omega Institute, the Association of Research and Enlightenment, the Open Center, I Can Do It events across the country, and has also recently finished a very successful online masterclass for Humanities Team with Serena and Sage Dyer, that's Wayne Dyer's children, about life after death. Karen is the founder of the Angel Quest Center in Waldwick, New Jersey, where she teaches classes, gives readings, and practices alternative healing. You can listen to Karen on the Angel Quest Show on all podcast platforms. Welcome, Karen, and happy holidays.
Thank you so much for having me on today. Happy holidays to you too, and to everybody that's listening.
Thank you. I am just thrilled that you're with us, and I have to say, we did a little pre-warm-up talking, and I just love your energy. It's so soft and loving. It's just beautiful. So I like to start the show by asking about your journey. Were you intuitive as a child? Are you a late bloomer like myself? So because people awaken at different points in their life.
Well, I have funny stories. I don't know if we have time, but I'll tell you a few of them. When I was younger, my father used to take me to the racetrack, and I picked the winning horses for him. And now I'm an animal activist, so I don't go to the track, but he used to say I was lucky and so forth. I would pick the winning numbers from my grandmother. She had a bookie, and I picked the winning numbers. But about 25 years ago, I was going through a difficult time in my life, and I'll never forget, I was sitting at the edge of my bed, and I was just yelling at God, asking if I would be okay. And with that, I saw a light that came towards me from the other side of the room. And my first response was, if you're not of God, please leave. Now, I know years later that everything is of God, but at that time, what I meant was that if it was not of a higher vibration, please leave. But as I said that, it continued to come towards me and eventually enveloped me. And at that time, I felt the most incredible peace that I've ever felt. And I heard an audible voice that said, Luce Lucina, Bella Luce Lucina. And for those Italian listeners, are you Italian, Marla?
I'm not.
Okay. It means light, beautiful little light. And I've since learned it was St. Francis of Assisi, who's been guiding and protecting me ever since. And there's my animal connection and peace and love and all of that. Those who follow me on Facebook or have read any of my books, you could see that the peace connection and animal and all of that. But right after that experience, I started receiving messages from angels and ascended masters and deceased loved ones. And I did not want to share with people. I didn't want them to think I was not in my right mind. So I
understand.
I didn't at first. But eventually I gave in and I started practicing alternative healing, Reiki and so forth in the back of a hair salon. And as I was doing Reiki, that, on the person, I would receive messages for that person. And eventually, the client told somebody who told other people, and they told other people. And eventually I was booked a couple of years ahead of time. and the rest is history. But that spiritual experience really changed me forever. I am a different person than I was before. Um, People who knew me before say, first of all, I was pathetically shy, and now I speak to large groups of people. But it's not about me. Now it's about how can I help you to do what I do? Because I know we're all right. We're all intuitive. It's not just me.
Right.
And we all have those abilities. And that's, I think, my most important purpose here on earth is to teach people how to do what I do.
And everybody can learn. I mean, like I say, I'm a late bloomer, and walking down, the path, and yeah, it's you can start learning at any time. You just have to be open to receiving.
Exactly. And most people expect to hear a voice
Right.
or to see an apparition of their loved one. But in reality, they're spirits. So they're speaking to us telepathically. So pay attention to the thoughts that pop in your head for no reason. You'll say, I wasn't thinking of that. And it just pops in your head. Look for signs from them. I call them without a doubt signs. Something that normally wouldn't happen,
Right.
such as a bird lands on you and screams in your face or something like that. I could tell you many examples of that. That's my favorite topic because it seems like everybody has had a without a doubt sign and they know it. Sometimes they come to us in dreams, and but we need to wake up after the dream so that we remember it. And
Right.
it's important to tell the difference between a real dream from a loved one, an angel, or a dream from your subconscious.
So how do you do that?
Yeah, the difference is a dream from your subconscious is something that you're working on. Maybe your deceased loved one is angry in your dream, or they're in a coffin. That is not them, because after you leave the physical body, you're in a state of complete peace and love.
Right.
So know that that would be a dream from your subconscious. When they come through in a dream for you, it will feel amazing, like you've won the lottery. If I may, I could share a story.
I would love it.
Well, so after my mom passed, I started receiving many signs from her, many dreams, but I'll never forget this one dream. Right before this happened, I was saying to my mother, Mom, I miss your voice. I need to hear your voice one more time. Now, 2 minutes ago, I just said that they don't come to us as a voice, but I needed to hear a voice. Anyway, I went home one day after work and I was very tired and I took a nap and I had a dream, but it wasn't a dream. It was a real visitation from my mom. What happened was I walked into a crowded room and over the loudspeaker came my mother's voice and she said, Hi, sweetheart. I have an important announcement. I have an important announcement. I am okay and I love you. And in the dream, I knew it was her. It was not a dream. You know what I mean? You just know.
Yes.
I said,
Right.
oh my God, Mom, I love you so much. Who are you with? And then she said something that I didn't understand. And then I said, could you say that again? And then she said, Nanny, who's her mom. And with that, the phone rang, woke me up, and I was able to remember the dream. You see, you have to wake up after a dream like that so that you remember it. So ask your loved ones to come to you in a dream and then wake you up after the dream so that you remember it. And then be patient and wait, and it'll come when you least expect it.
That's phenomenal. It is really phenomenal how your mom came to you and you do that. But sometimes you can hear voices. I know I hear voices,
Yes.
but but then when I was first learning, it was like, is this real? What I hearing is real?
Uh-huh.
And it was, and
Yeah.
it still is. So when it happens,
It's yes, it is possible to have the voices and so forth. That's when I had the Lucha Lucina. That was an audible voice. I've heard voices too, but it's harder for them to send a voice, and not everybody gets that. So, but everybody gets the thoughts. They speak to us telepathically. Everybody gets that, and they don't understand it. They think it's them thinking about their loved ones. Here's the difference between you thinking about your loved ones
mhm.
and a real message from them. You're thinking, I hope you could follow this. You're thinking about them would have a thought that triggered a thought that triggered a thought. For example, you see a picture that reminds you of your grandmother, that reminds you of something else, and then something your grandmother said. That's you. When my mom passed, I'll give an example of my mom again. As I was driving right after that, in my thought process, and I'm not thinking anything about my mom at that time, in my thoughts, it said, I heard, Hi, sweetheart. Now, I don't call myself sweetheart. She called me sweetheart. So I'm telling people to listen to the thoughts that pop in your head for no reason. You might often say, what the heck is that? Who's that? Why am I thinking that? That is the way they come to you. And the more you pay attention to these thoughts, the more they'll come.
Which I really love. And I think it's so helpful for people to hear you say that, because it's, a lot of people go, oh, like poppycock, that's not real, blah, blah, blah. And you're confirming, yes, it's very real. And the more you do it, the more they'll communicate with you.
Yes. And what I would say too, just if I talk too much, tell me.
No, you're fine.
Because I love to talk about this stuff, but they love to give us without a doubt signs. Things that normally don't happen. If I could give another example of
Sure,
this.
absolutely. Love examples.
Okay. So they often retain the same personality as they had when they were here. If they're quiet, they're still quiet. If they were loud, they are still loud. And if they were funny, they're still funny.
So if they were liars, they'd still be a liar, like they'd tell fibs.
Well, this is something, they retain the same personality, but they grow and evolve. That's a very good question, because they're at a higher state of consciousness at that point. But I think they do this when they come through so that yeah, that was my father, that was my friend, and so forth. It's the same when they're coming through. Sometimes they yell, and I'm saying, but they're in a higher state of consciousness. Why are they yelling? It's because that's their loved one would say, yeah, that's them. I'll give you an example. My friend Marion was very sarcastic, played practical jokes, was very loud. So after she passed, and this is something I would tell our listeners to do as well, I wrote a letter to her. You could write a letter to your deceased loved one saying how much you love them and why. And then at the end of the letter, what I did, I said, give me a without a doubt sign to let me know that you're aware of what I wrote to you. And you could do the same thing. Give me a sign to let me know that you're aware of this letter. A few days later, I was in a different house at that time. I moved since then, but I was walking down the steps to put my letters in my mailbox. And as I'm walking down the steps, there was a bird screaming at the top of its lungs in my driveway, and something I've never heard before, a little bird, wah! Like that, screaming. So I said, Marion, is that you? Now here's when I knew it was her. I walked to the mailbox and the bird flew to the mailbox. Birds usually fly away from you, not towards you. So I'm at the mailbox. The bird is looking at me and I'm looking at the bird and I said, oh my God, Marion, I love you so much. And I'm crying and I'm crying. My neighbor was looking at me like I've lost my mind.
Right.
I had my cell phone in my pocket and I called my son who was in the house. I said, Tim, come outside. Marion's here. And he said, huh? I said, just come outside. He's so used to me. And he came up outside and he witnessed this whole thing. A few days later, a mutual friend of Marion and myself called me and said, you're not going to believe what happened. I said, what happened? She said, I know it was Marion. She said, I opened the sliding glass door. First of all, she said, I just painted my kitchen. I opened the sliding glass door and a bird flew in my kitchen, pooped all over my walls, and then flew out. And she said, thank you, Marion. That's typical Marion fashion. So you see what I'm saying? She came through exactly the way she did when she was here in the physical plane. Would my mother do something like that? No, but Marion. And I'm
that was pretty funny.
Right. Yeah.
When you both understood that it was Marion.
It was without a doubt. And since then, she's been coming through crazy smacks, birds that bunk their head on the window. And when that happens to me, it happens to this other friend, Carol, at the same day and so forth. So it's really cool.
That's very cool. So let's go to the lying and fibbing, or if they were.
Oh, yeah.
How that works.
They would not lie and fib because they're in a higher state of consciousness. They feel their oneness with everyone and everything. They feel their oneness with source, with spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. So there are, their higher state of consciousness where they're not able to lie. But they may say something like, when I was here, this is something, they see through your eyes how they affected you. They go through a life review. So they're able to see how they affected you through your eyes as if they are you, because they are you, they're one with you. So they may say something like, I'm sorry that I used to lie to you. And I see how that affected you, and so forth.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very, very interesting.
yeah,
Now you started channeling Dr. Wayne Dyer.
yeah, reluctantly.
Well, let's hear
Reluctantly.
this story.
Yeah. So what happened was I was a huge Wayne Dyer fan, and people ask me all the time if I knew him beforehand. And the answer is no. I loved him. I was a huge fan of his. I went to his events. He was a fellow Hay House author and so forth, but I did not know him personally. I was devastated when he passed. But anyway, I was scheduled to speak about life after death in Orlando, Florida, right after my third book came out, Your Life After Their Death. Yes, that was my third. Anyway, I was ready to speak about that, and Wayne had just passed right before that. So they were going to be doing a tribute to Dr. Dyer a day before I was going to be speaking. So they asked if I'd like to come, and of course wanted to go to this tribute because I love this man. So what happened was they had a bus. Oh, he always plays.
This one out in Georgia. Sorry
This,
about that.
this is what happens whenever we talk about Wayne Dyer. He was loud. So this is what happens every time I do an interview about him. You'll see. So, oh
Here
God.
we go again. Keep
I
talking.
know the lights, for those who just get the audio with this, the lights on her end are going on and off. But in any case, so Hay House is going on and off. Hay House had a bus going from the hotel room, which we were staying, all the Hay House authors.
I'll find another source of light.
This
Not
is
as
what I'm
good.
this. I hope everybody could see this in person, because this is, I'm not even surprised. You see,
This has never happened to
That
me.
happened. Yep. Now you talk to Wayne, and everybody could talk to Wayne, by the way. It's not just me.
We'll just keep turning it back on.
Okay. So he loves to play games. So I was in the bus going from the hotel to the conference center, and there was only one seat available on the whole bus, and it happened to be next to me. And in walked Serena Dyer, one of his children, and sat next to me. And she sat down. It's a long story, a very long story, but the rest is history. Eventually, she started, her and her family. Wayne had 8 children, as well as a
He
wife.
was a very active man, wasn't he?
You see what he? I wish everybody could see what's happening. The lights are going on. Can you imagine? Sometimes this happens on my end, and I'm trying to talk, and he's making things go, things bunking into me, the lights going on and off. He wants us to know that he's with us.
Thank you, Wayne.
To make a long story short, and it's not just, he just doesn't come through to me. Whoever would like to hear from him, he speaks to them. Now, again, Wayne was loud, just as he was here in the physical body, so he's coming through loud and clearly.
Can't be more louder than this in a silent way.
Yes, yes. And so he eventually, I mean, I could tell the story, but this tells it all with him turning lights going on and off. But eventually the 3 of his daughters and his wife came to see me in New Jersey, and they said things that nobody would know, and they know without a doubt that it was him coming through. Now, he came through for them singularly with messages for his family, but he also came through with a group consciousness called the We Guides. So it's kind of like Abraham. I don't know if you've ever heard. You're giving up, right, with the lights going on.
I'm trying to give up with the lights. I'm trying to figure, let's find some more light source for me.
Yeah, you can't you can't believe some of the things I had to deal with over the last several years. But good stuff. But like that, I forget what I was saying. But yes, so they came to New Jersey. He came singularly. And then he came through with a group consciousness called the We Guides, because he was very anxious to talk about what was going to be happening in the near future. And it was a very important message. And he was going to be giving me channeled messages. He came with a group consciousness with, all the ascended masters, St. Francis of Assisi himself, angels, and so forth. And it would be hard to differentiate him from all the rest when he came through. But they gave I channeled 33 concepts from them of the we consciousness. And it basically is that we're all one, and whatever we do to ourselves or another affects everybody. And that includes all the angels and ascended masters, all beings, all animals, all of nature, and even dimensions, those from other dimensions, other planets, and so forth. And we're all one, and how to create peace on the planet as well. Isn't that cool how your lights are going on and off? I'm trying to ignore it because I've learned this happens all the time. So I'm like, okay, just keep talking. Sometimes I'm at a conference. I'm like, okay, this is happening. A butterfly lands on me, or, you just have to go with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to look too washed out or too dark, but that's okay. You know what? This is a send-off episode, and Wayne's here to share it with us. So I'm not complaining.
Maybe he likes it dimmer. Maybe he likes it like that better.
Yeah, maybe he likes that more peaceful kind of darker light, ambient light. Maybe that's how he got 8 children.
Yes.
Very healthy libido. So how does this work? Like, would you take some of these concepts and say that they had to do with like 2024?
I would love to share one of the exact channeling from him, if I may.
Oh, absolutely.
This was actually channeled in 2016. So after that point, this was before that, but it was finished in 2017 and so forth. But I'll read it word for word. And I said, thank you. All right. The time before that, he was talking about the afterlife. But I said, thank you for reminding us, Wayne. I wanted to share one more thing before we conclude. At one point, you showed me a visual of dark energy underneath the earth rising above the surface. Can you tell us what this means? And he said, at this time, a significant amount of negativity that has been stuffed down on earth over the last several decades is beginning to erupt from underneath the surface. Do not be fearful, because this is necessary for the commencement of a thorough cleansing of the darkness with the light. Be thankful, because the planet is now rising to a new level of awareness. While many will join forces with the darkness, an even larger number of others will come aligned with the energy of the we consciousness to heal the planet. Each individual will make the choice as to which direction to take. Make sure to choose wisely and become a channel of peace. Allow the God force that is within you to shine through. And I said, yes, of course, that's the purpose of this book, to show everyone how to become instruments of peace. It's all as if the timing of this book was divinely planned. And he said, yes, it was. But then again, everything always is. And then I said, thank you for dedicating your time to coming through for us. It's been such a wonderful experience. Is there anything else you wish to add here? And he said, just tell everyone to keep my teachings alive and to spread my newfound wisdom. I will be guiding all who wish to continue in my path. I am alive and well. There is no death.
Goosebumps all over. I love you. And I have to tell you, I know this is a weird visual, but as you started talking about the darkness coming up, so what I heard was it's sort of like a blocked oil. It turns into a pimple, and then it turns into a pus pimple that you need to sort of extract the pus out of so that it can heal. And that vision came to me as you're reading, and I'm like, this is a very unusual vision.
Yeah. You know what else? I get the visual of like a big balloon, and then you pop the balloon and then it just dissipates.
Yeah. But it's true what's going on with that. And 2024 is, I have to share, not just, and I shared with you before the show, my few challenges, but they were big ones. But people have really had a hard 2023. And I feel that 2024's energy is going to be a lot lighter, a lot more sparkly, and people are going to have an easier, thank you, Wayne, easier time of it. And what do you have any feelings about?
Yes, no, I agree with you. But you know what's the most important thing to do is to understand. I would tell everybody that we create our reality. Whatever we're thinking and feeling, we create, because we're vibrational beings. We're like a magnet attracting like unto itself. So if we're thinking what we don't want,
Think
we
about what you do
create
want.
what we don't want. So we have to totally focus on what we do want, which is peace and love and plenty of time to do what we need to do, and so forth. Instead of saying, oh, I don't, which we were talking before the show, I was saying, I don't have enough time. Instead of saying that, saying, I have plenty of time and excited, to do all the things that I wish to do. And sometimes it feels like you're making it up, but by saying that, you're creating it to happen. So the idea is to focus on solutions rather than the problem. Focus on what you do want rather than what you don't want. And then take the steps that you want, to make it happen. Like, Marla, you're not doing this for a while, this show, because you need to do what you need to do for now. You're on hiatus and so forth. So that is important, to listen to what spirit is telling you, to what your higher self is telling you.
Yeah, and I think most people, if you understood that, if you could pay attention, be aware, be mindful of the messages you're getting, then if you're, like if you're being negative, but you're getting, directions to go to a more positive route, but you insist on staying the negative, you're going to get more of what you asked for or what you focus on.
You don't want, and that's what we were talking about before. I don't know if you want to share, but sometimes when we when we don't listen to our guidance, to our higher self, to spirit, whatever you want to call it, we'll say, oh, we'll do it. I'll stop, like, I'll be on hiatus next time. I'll be on hiatus next year. Then something may happen to you physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever it is. And it often does. And I shared the story beforehand, is I really needed time before COVID started. I really, for many years, let's say, even before COVID started, for 20 years, I haven't had time, because I shouldn't say that, because now I'm affirming that. That was in the past. But now I have plenty of time. We'll just say it that way. But right before COVID started, I said, oh, I just need time to be alone and do everything I need to do. I just need time. And guess what? I was gifted with COVID for 6 weeks. I was sick, but I was at home alone, sick. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to manifest what we don't want, achieving what we do want. We could say, I have enough time. I'm doing what I love to do. I am healthy. I am abundant, whatever it is you wish. Perfect relationships and so forth.
Exactly. And what I find is, it's okay to say what you don't want, as long as you counterbalance it with what you do want. It's okay to say, Spirit, do not bring me this, blah, 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 blah. This is what I want instead.
Well,
this is what I want you to bring.
This is key, though. This is really important, because I've been working with people for a long time. And when they do their vision boards, and by the way, New Year's Eve is a wonderful time to do your vision board for next year. I've been doing it every year for about 10 years. And I look at the board and I'm like, oh my God, almost everything on those boards have come to pass. You want to put a positive affirmation of what you desire. So let's say you're not abundant. Somebody comes to me, they don't have a job. Say, I have the perfect job. I am abundant, as if it's happening, present, positive. And then this is key. You have to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You assume that feeling as if it's happened now. If you can do it, if you could feel that feeling, it's a done deal.
Nice.
Use positive present words, present tense.
I like that. And I agree with you wholeheartedly that, yeah, you do. And you need to, act for what is there. I don't know if you've heard any of my announcements, but I always say, I tell people, I say, I love you. And I talk about the plethora of beings on the other side, and to ask for what it is you need, want, and desire, but do it in detail. Because if you're a C-suite executive and you want a job and you just say, oh, I need a new job, you can't assume Spirit knows that you're a C-suite executive and you make 6 figures or 7 figures or whatever. And so they might get you a job, but it might be multiple steps down for this job offer.
Exactly. I have a wonderful story about a vision board like that. A person, I know, I just get so excited.
I love this. Share.
Okay. So there was a lovely woman. Her name is Jennifer, and she said I could share her story. But several years ago, she came to see me, and she said to me, as I'm doing the Reiki on her, she said, I'm destined to be alone the rest of my life. I'll never find anybody. And I said, that's right. If you say that, she goes, what do you mean? I said, don't say that. I said, do a vision board. I explained to her what a vision board is, what you desire in a partner, and then send it to me and I'll help you tweak it. So within 15 minutes, she went home. 15 minutes later, she sent me her vision board, and all she put on the vision board was a really cute guy from a magazine. That's it. Where is this going? So I called her up and I said, Jennifer, that's wonderful, but what else do you want in a partner? And these were her words. I don't care as long as he looks like this. So this is a true story. Wait till you hear this. This even blew my mind away. So maybe 2 weeks later, not even, she calls me and she said, Karen, I don't, this SH really works, right? This works. I said, what happened? So she said she joined Match.com and somebody contacted her, a really cute guy who was a model. And they were talking and she said, what do you model? And he happened to be the same person that she put on her vision board.
Oh my goodness.
But guess what? He was a jerk. He was not what she wanted. So I said to her, now, what are the chances of receiving the same person that you put on her vision board? I said, do it again. You see that it works. But now, right, he loves me unconditionally. I love him unconditionally. He's available. And whatever else you wish to put on it. And she's thinking, and she said, I'd like for him to be well off and support me. Is that okay? I said, if he loves you unconditionally and you love him unconditionally, of course, that's fine. And she said, I'd love for him to travel. I said, good. Put it all on the vision board. Like you said, be specific. I didn't hear from her in about a year. A year later, she says she met her perfect partner, everything that was on the vision board. He was the CEO of a company. He had a jet plane. They were traveling the world. He loved her unconditionally. He was amazing. And January before COVID, her and him came to an appointment. They had just gotten married. So that's a true story. When do exactly what Marla said, be very specific about the job, about your partner, about whatever it is that you wish to achieve.
Even how you want to get abundance.
Exactly.
Or financial abundance, or financial wealth, whatever it might be specific, because you don't want to get it doing something that is unsavory. I mean,
Right.
people gain lots and lots of wealth that way, but it's not the way you want to, because it carries energy, it carries karma with it.
Exactly. Absolutely. It's very true. So you could say you could be your authentic self and you're so happy, whatever it is, you be very specific. You could even on the vision board, sometimes I have vision board classes and I get $1 million bills from Amazon. So he's on there and say, I'm so happy that I made that. When you say you're happy, you made it in a nice way, right? And
Yes.
you have the million, whatever it is.
And you thank for making me a multimillionaire.
Yeah. Thank you. And another thing is to say thank you beforehand. Thank you so much for the perfect partner. Thank you so much for perfect health. Thank you for whatever it is you wish to.
For peaceful relationships, loving relationships, supportive, honest, and yes. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
thank you for having me create amazing memories from all my experiences, my wonderful experiences.
Perfect. That's perfect. You see how you're doing that is you're thanking before the fact everything that you desire as if it's happened. Absolutely. And that's the faith that all the great masters talked about. Have the faith, have the faith. It's happening.
Right, but people don't. I feel that people, if it's not immediate, like, as Americans, I don't know if it's like this in the rest of the world, in terms of Americans are very immediate gratification. It has to happen here and now and blah, 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 blah. And you have to give it time to work. It just, you don't snap your fingers like Genie and it happened.
Absolutely. And sometimes that's a good thing because sometimes we think we want something and we find out maybe we didn't want that. So never pull it up by its roots. That you're sending this out. You wish this to happen. It's going to be coming to you in perfect divine order when the time is right. Exactly. I had a woman that came to my classes and she was a client that wanted the perfect partner and he came like 2 years later, but he still was married at the time when she started this. And then he wasn't, and they'd never met, but then he walked into her hair salon. So he wasn't available. Exactly. For whatever reason, she wanted a gentleman with white hair and a ponytail. This guy comes in, unconditional love, loves her unconditionally, blah, blah, blah. And he manifested perfect timing. He wasn't ready 2 years before that. So that's what we understand.
And you can always say, thank you for bringing it to me in perfect time, in perfect order. So
Exactly.
you don't have to deal with, like you
Yeah.
said, the more challenging things. But I like that you said that about, I call it the 7 second delay.
Mm,
Because spirit will give us we don't manifest like this as we will as the veils keep, getting thinner and thinner.
yes.
So you have to be really careful about what you think about, what you say you want, because we're gifted with a 7 second delay where we have the opportunity to really rethink, do you really want this? And
Sometimes, don't you do that? Or you think you want something and you're like, oh, I know my vision board. Sometimes I see something, I'm like, oh, I peel it off. I'm like, I know I don't want that. You think you do. So it really will happen when it's the best time for you.
exactly. And what I think a lot of people don't understand is everything happens at the timing it does for a reason. Everything has a reason season, for it,
Absolutely.
for things to happen. And
Yep.
it's funny. I was telling you before, about my broken hip, right? So
Yes.
instead of getting all upset and crazy about it, it was like, okay, why did this happen? What do you want from me? What do you want me to do? What haven't I done? And I waited for my messages because I knew that this just wasn't something random.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I'm here. I'm listening. You've got my attention. You know,
You needed to slow down. And nothing
absolutely.
else would have slowed you down. And you broke something before that too, right?
My elbow, yeah, 2 months
So,
before.
right.
So for somebody who never had broken bones, all of a sudden, two in a row, it's like, no, this is just,
I have.
what is it? What am I not doing? Open my eyes, give me clarity. And which is something you can always ask spirit for, is clarity.
Absolutely. Oh, that's a good one to ask for clarity. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you could create what you want without having to break your arm or hip or get COVID or anything like that. So
Yeah.
understand that when you're being guided, listen to the intuition, that constant nagging feeling, do this, stop doing this, don't work as hard as you're doing. This person is wonderful. This person, stay away, whatever it is. You listen to that guidance.
So what I've learned, and I don't know if this is the same experience for you, is that spirit will do a gentle tap on you, very gently, like just trying to say, I'm here, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. But if you ignore the tap or you don't realize what's going on, the tap gets a little harder.
Oh, yeah.
And again, if you don't listen, it gets harder and harder and harder and harder. And so, I mean, I'm still trying to sort of, untangle what happened to me, because I was listening to what Spirit said with the elbow. It's like, okay, I pull back, I'm slowing down. And then this, and it's sort of like, okay, apparently it wants me in a different direction as well, which
Exactly.
I was not hearing those messages.
But you heard now.
Loud and clear.
You listened, and that's the most. And doesn't it feel good when you listen to guidance? It feels good. It feels like, oh, should have done that a long time ago,
Yeah.
right?
And most of the time, yeah. And others sometimes, but there are times I go, I don't understand. Please explain this to me. I need help. Because sometimes you do need clarity. Sometimes they talk in a language that you might not understand because they're not using your vernacular, the
Exactly.
way you communicate.
And sometimes you don't want to hear it. Many times I'm like, I know I should do this, but I really don't want to.
I mean, how many relationships did we know we should release
Mm.
before its expiration date
Mhm.
instead of staying way past its expiration date?
And then once you do, you feel good,
Yeah,
right?
you do. You feel like this huge epiphany has happened to you, and like the colors are brighter, and the experiences are deeper, and things are vivid, and yeah, it's wonderful.
Absolutely. So now that 2024 is coming up very soon, it's next week,
Yes, it is.
I would recommend for everyone listening to do a vision board. And if you can't, that's okay too. But to think what you would like to achieve next year. Not only achieve, but would you like more time?
Yeah.
Thing I want, I desire. And you know what, by the way, don't put on the vision board I want, because you'll always be in a state of wanting.
Want. Right.
So you on the vision board, I'm going to put, I have plenty of time. And then you feel it, how it feels to have plenty of time. So you do that vision board, everything you wish to achieve next year or feel or do, or perfect relationships, perfect job, abundance, do it all.
I
If you
used
want
to do,
specific, yeah.
I'm sorry, I used to do treasure maps, which are very much like a vision board.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, it's a treasure. So, for example, in this, well, on the right hand, make a column, and this is where you're going to put what you want. So, let's say we're talking about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say romantic relationship. What? And you say, like the vision board, all the details of what you want. You want them to be honest and unconditional and supportive, and you allowing you to support them. Because here's the thing: it's one thing to um, support. Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. But it's one thing to ask for support, but you want to also support in return because it's a mutual exchange. But you
Yeah.
put down all you want on this right side. In the what's left of the space, you put pictures or more words, but it's like a little collage.
Okay.
And then underneath, this or something better. Thank
Mm,
you, Father, or thank you,
there
Spirit, or
you
thank you,
go.
however you do it. But it's
Yes.
the part where you're saying this or something better because you don't want to box yourself into
Oh,
just
I
the
love that.
it.
I love that. That's good, because you
You
think
want,
you want something, but there's something better out there for you. That is
absolutely.
amazing. And that has happened, right? Has that ever happened to you? You think you want,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So that is good. This was something better.
Yeah. And then you say thank you, Father, or
Right.
Spirit, or whomever. And so we have a couple of people. Victoria has said, I love this. So thank you, Victoria.
Sorry, you can
She
do this. You can do it.
follows the podcast and she's been asking for her dad to be channeled, but I don't feel that this show, Bree, is the right show because we're talking about 2024 and what we can do for 2024 or what energies we see happening in
Well, you know what
2020.
I can say to her, to Bree, is that in 2024, you can channel your dad yourself. And this is what I was saying before. The most important thing, of course, you know, you like to go to a medium and get messages, but how much better if you receive the messages yourself. Ask your dad to come to you in a dream and to wake you up after the dream so you remember it. You know, ask your dad to give you a sign, a without a doubt sign, something that normally wouldn't happen, such as a car will cut you off and the license is his name, or a rainbow shows up when you're thinking about him, or the perfect song comes on the radio when it's your birthday, or so forth. You will see. Then it's, you know, so you ask him for a sign, ask him to come to you in a dream. Pay attention to the thoughts that pop in your head for no reason, as we were talking about today. And that will be so much more fulfilling for you, because it just won't be a one time reading. It will be something that you can do yourself.
She said, I just don't believe. Can you tell me anything, please? I'm going to say this, Bree. The fact that you just said, I just don't believe,
Right.
I don't know if you meant I don't believe I can, will keep you from being able to connect with your father because
Right.
that's what we have just been talking about through the show.
But
So please
everybody,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
everybody could do this. But the best part, what we were talking about before, is for 2024, we can manifest so many things in our lives, you know, so exciting things, quiet, whatever. Like what, Marla, what do you see for next year for you? What would you wish?
Well, what I'm intending, because I believe in intentions. So what
Right.
I intend to bring, is just a lot of travel with my husband, a lot of happy memories being created. Um, my book, getting my book done that's in the hopper that I'm working on, and giving me the time and space and grace to be able to do that. I
Mm-hmm.
also intend to go I'm hoping to go to with some exotic places with my husband. I'm trying to get him to Bali. Don't know if it'll be this year or not, but I've been trying. So I put the intention that we're going to go to have those kind of experiences.
But a little push here. I'm doing a retreat in Costa Rica in February, how to connect, how to enhance your psychic abilities, but you're already psychic. But in addition to that, we'll be doing drumming circles on the beach and holotropic breath work and cacao ceremonies and so forth. So it'll be a lot of fun things that we could be doing too, not just learning how to connect with angels and deceased loved ones, but how to increase your own intuition.
Which is wonderful. And if you give that information to Bridget, we'll put it in the blog.
Okay.
So Victoria is saying, I'm able to speak to spirit and get signs and had validation that things were going so well. But 2023 went off the really went off the rails. How can we solidify the intentions for 2024? I vision boarded and have asked for, I can't read, I don't know what this word is, and I'm a bit stuck.
Okay, what the most important thing to do, and this is key. You could do all the vision boards you want and nothing will happen unless you assume the feeling of your wish. So you have to pretend that it happened now. What would you be doing if whatever it is you wish to have, like perfect job? Feel the feeling of what it would feel like to have the perfect job. Imagine how far you travel to work, how much you'd be making, what you would be doing with the extra money, how it would feel like being at work with wonderful people and a wonderful boss, whatever it is. And you feel it because it's the energy of what you're saying. It's not the words themselves. So you could say all these things, I am abundant, but if you don't feel abundant, you won't
Right.
I am healthy, but you feel sick and so forth. You have to feel what it would feel like, and you have to fake it until you make it. Like, in other words, was there ever a time that you felt abundant? Maybe you're not abundant now, but was there a time that you felt abundant? Abundance is not just with money. Abundance could be with relationships or, time, abundance of time and so forth. So you have to feel it. And if you could feel it just for, according to Esther Hicks, I don't know if you follow Abraham,
Yes.
but 17 seconds of feeling that, assuming that feeling, manifestation begins. That's it. Now, then you don't pull it out by its roots after you send that message out. You know it's going to happen.
You trust. You have faith.
That's it. Just know it and let it go. Don't say, why isn't this happening? And so forth. Right.
Perfect. We need to take, I hope that helped, Victoria. We need to take, we're a little late for our charity shout out. And your charity shout out is Catskill Animal Sanctuary. And that the website will be on the blog. Why Catskill? That's close to where you are, right?
It is close to where I am, but I love, I'm an animal activist, as I said before. And
Yes.
during that spiritual experience over 20 something years ago, I felt my connection to everyone and everything. And that includes animals. And right after that, I couldn't eat meat anymore. And I'm not telling everybody that they have to become a vegan. But I'm telling you, sometimes you could feel if we're all one and you're eating. Anyway, I know all the times I've been doing this, you can't convince people, and I don't want to. Sometimes there's an auditorium room filled with people, and I say, how many vegans? There's 2. So I get it. I totally get it. But I can tell you that maybe one meal a week, you can make it plant-based. And then every time you do that, you'll save an animal's life. And why Catskill's Animal Sanctuary is because they rescue cows and pigs and
So big animals as well as small animals.
right. It's all animals, and it's a really wonderful.
And it's great because not all veterinarians, not all places, are capable based on space to have, to take care of a peacock or an emu or an elephant or a horse.
Right. And a lot of them are, were ready to be slaughtered and so forth. So, or they fell off the truck. There's one that was in the news recently that there's a Skyland sanctuary, a bull, I forget his name, they named him, but they saved him,
Yeah.
So those types of things, they rescue these types of animals. It's a wonderful organization.
It sounds phenomenal. It truly
Yeah.
does. So please check out Catskill Animal Sanctuary and do what you can to help them or any animal sanctuary in your backyard that you can help.
It says Victoria is a big animal rescue
family. Yes.
Sending you a hug.
Which is great. It's funny. Before I got my Haniel, I said to my husband about rescuing, fostering. That we travel so much, so we wanted an animal that was small enough that we could take with us So she's our little companion, our travel companion, and
Oh,
she does it so well.
see, and she's barking in the background, I think I heard.
Yeah, she's got somebody outside who's talking, and she's talking back.
It's just as if on command. She just,
Exactly. Honey. Yeah. Yeah, who turns 1 tomorrow. Happy
oh,
birthday, honey L.
you have to have a party.
I know I'm going to go to the pet store and get a hat. I said to Gary, my husband, I need to get her a little birthday crown. And he said, what was I going to say? He's like, oh, Marla. And it's like, I'm going today and getting her a birthday crown. It's her birthday. I'm big on celebrating people's arrival onto Earth or beings' arrival onto Earth as much as I can. I
Mhm.
think, we all deserve to be honored, respected, and celebrated.
That's true. So you're gonna get her a hat? You get her a little toy?
Yeah, she's got so many toys,
Oh,
more than enough.
beautiful.
So, so Bria's saying, I can't afford $300 on your friend's website. Please, that's
First of
all I
all,
wanted for
first of all,
Christmas.
I don't charge $300, but I'm not taking any new clients. So certainly, and the best thing I could give you, and I'm totally honest when I say, is to do this yourself.
Try it, Brie. Before you say you can't, why
Yeah.
don't you try it with an open heart and an open mind? Go to sleep and ask for your father to come to you in a dream and to wake you after so you can remember it. And let us know how it worked out for you. But you have to be patient. You have to believe you can. You can't, if you're going to be negative and shut down, you're not going to get anything. And he might be knocking on your door now, and you're not hearing the knock because you don't think you can. So if you think you can't, you can't. It's that little, remember that little fair, not, it was a little story. I think I can. The little
The
red
little
engine.
engine that could. I think I
Yeah.
can. I can.
And
Yeah.
just do that to your head. I can, I can, I can. And
And
Dad, please come to me when I'm sleeping and wake me up so I can remember the dream. Let me know you're okay. Let me know you're here. So please, Bree, give that a try before you say you can't. And give it a try a few times because you might have to get through your own web of negativity, to realize you can because everybody has the ability. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to go off on this, but this is now Karen's time. So, Karen, I want you to share anything that we did not talk about that you'd like to share, promote. I know we did the Costa Rica
oh.
um, retreat in February, so
Yeah.
that's very cool.
So what I would say is, what's important, after we leave the physical body, we go through a life review. And I discussed it a little bit before, where we're able to see and feel how we've affected people through the other person's eyes, through the living person's eyes. So when people come through, they often say, I'm sorry, I should have, could have, would have, and now it's too late. So what I say to people is, why do we have to wait until it's too late to go through a life review? Try to see through each person's eyes that you interact with right now. Forgive those who hurt you. As a matter of fact, it's not the snake bite that kills you, it's the venom that's left
Right.
behind. Ask forgiveness for those that you hurt. Treat yourself with the respect that you deserve because you're just as important as everybody else. And you'll create peace right here and now. And you won't have to wait until it's too late to go through that life review.
And many people on their last breath, they have a lot of regrets. If you follow Karen's guidance, you will not have the regrets. You
But we all
will.
will. We'll all have a little bit here, a little bit of there. We're not perfect, but if we try, at least we could do that. Try to
Well,
see.
let's say we can minimize our regrets.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's
Perfect.
change the vernacular. We can
Yeah,
minimize our regrets.
absolutely, and create peace in our lives right now.
Exactly, because it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
So that's wonderful. And I am, Karen, you've shared so many wonderful tips for our listeners to be able to incorporate in their life and try. Would love to hear if you've tried this and you've done this with open heart, open mind, how the effect, how it worked out, so I can share with Karen and let her know. If you,
I think what we need to do is to assume the feeling. When we're talking about trying to do a vision board for 2025, 24, sorry.
24.
That's where I'm booked to 24, and assume that feeling. But the same is with connecting with your deceased loved ones. If you say you can, you won't be able to do it. So on your vision board, you could put something like, I'm so excited that my mom gave me a without a doubt sign to let me know she's with me. I'm so excited that I had a dream of my brother.
Or
You
your
know,
dad or your uncle or whomever.
it is, yeah. And put that as, I'm able to do this easily and effortlessly. And you keep saying that. So that's important to have that intention.
I think
Well,
that's brilliant. Yes.
yes,
And letting them
the
know
best,
that it's easy and it's attainable, letting yourself know you can do this.
and the best is that you, my dear Marla, you're listening to your guidance, and next year is going to be your best year ever because you listened to your guidance. You're going to finish that book, yeah, perfect publisher and so forth.
Yeah,
That you wouldn't be able to do that if you continued working so hard and so forth. So that's going to be very exciting.
it's
You
going
keep
to
me
be.
posted on
I
how.
will absolutely will stay in touch after the show is over and communicate. Karen, I am so grateful that you shared all this information with our listeners, with myself, with Bridget, because it's powerful. What you shared is powerful and it's transformative. And it also helps people heal and start stepping into knowing that they do have the power within. They have the ability internally to help. And
Absolutely.
it's
And
priceless.
if you know, I have a book called Your Life After Their Death, and I tell you how to do this. You can get it on Amazon. It's $16. It tells you step by step how to do this yourself, how to receive the signs, how to get the dreams, how to heal after the loss of a loved one, all the different techniques and so forth. So I wrote that book after all the years of experience of doing readings and trying to help people to heal after the loss of a loved one. I wrote that book. So you may want to get that book as well.
I think that's brilliant. And thank you for putting that out there because it makes it more helpful. I want to thank Bridget for all you do for me, my right hand, my left hand, so grateful. I want to thank you, the listening audience, for taking time out of your life, out of your day, out of your life to be a part of this show because this show is created for you to bring you amazing people like Karen Noe. And you can find her at Karen Noe, and Noe is NOE.com. And so that they could bring you tips, tools, and techniques and ways that you can help yourself, to tap into what she and I have tapped into. So please do that. I have a few little announcements I want to share before my closing. And that is, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, that this is going to be the last Guided Spirit Conversations podcast and I can't give you an end date. I don't know if it's 6 months, a year, or if this is it, because I follow guidance and all it said was after this show, you need to take a break. So this is what I am doing. But I want you all to know that each and every one of you have touched me deeply in my heart, and I love you all for not just all the good stuff that we want to be loved for, but also the challenging things, because it's what helps us grow. It's what helps us realize that there's more and we can get out of our own way. And so thank you for that. Thank you for the gift that you've given me. I am so grateful and I feel so blessed by it. So thank you so much. I want to wish you a very happy new year, 2024. It's going to be amazing. If you think it's amazing, it's going to be amazing. And know that if you're traveling this holiday season, please bring supplies in your car. And I'm talking about auto travel. Bring blankets, excuse me, water, food. If you're traveling with your pets, do the same for them. Bring food bowls, bring food, water, blankets. So if for whatever reason you may be stranded, in those horrible snowy days, you at least know that you can survive the cold. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. And also, you can take a 128-ounce can, like tomato sauce, clean it out, take a candle, book of matches. If you need it, you crack your window, you light the candle, and it's also a heat source for you. So please take care of you because you're so important to us. All right. As I leave you, as always, I send you love, blessings, and gratitude. I am so grateful that you're in my life in whatever capacity you're in it. For not only are you my student, you are my teacher. Not only am I a teacher, I'm a student. And I'm going to say it again. I love you. You are loved, not just by me, not just by your family, friends, colleagues, community, but you have a plethora of beings on the other side of the veil who are your biggest cheerleaders. And as we spoke through the show, Karen and I, excuse me, talk to them. Talk to them in detail. Tell them what you need, want, and desire so that they can then conspire and go and get it for you and bring it to you. And be open to how these messages come to you because they will come if you allow them to. All right. Thank you again for everything. I can't share my gratitude enough. Stay well and have an amazing 2024. Take care.